Gotta get back to Hogwarts. Gotta get back to school. Gotta get back and finish Hogwarts. Cause twisted is
Once
magic
and for
cool.
Not a twisted and Oregon Trail. Here we go. I already gave up. Welcome.
What do you think of the musicals you'll know?
Why did you add an extra syllable?
I don't. It's hard to come up with lyrics on the spot. And
We're
speaking
not
of
Wayne
Spot,
Brady, okay?
Speaking of Spot, it's time for StarKid Spotlight, where these three wonderful people will talk about the StarKid musicals.
Wait, we don't have a guest here today.
Three wonderful people.
I was being exclusionary anyway.
Oh, okay. I'm Random Bystander here.
I'm the Wash.
And okay is wonderful.
Oh,
Absolutely. Oh.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to them.
We'll get to all the aw moments.
There's a lot of them. But one in particular that I know you guys are going to reference. So, Harry Potter senior year. This is an interesting one, and it's technically not even a full production. This is actually just a staged reading, which is different because most stage readings just like, well, people will have the script in hand and sometimes not even be in costume. Like a lot of stage readings that I've been into in the past, usually people would wear just like casual clothes and maybe something like a hat or something to signify a character.
The one I've been to, like, there wasn't even. It was actors sitting in a row of chairs reading out the script together.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting from this when I found out it was just a reading.
I was especially because this is at LeakyCon, which is apparently like a big Harry Potter convention. Like I was expecting like a panel.
Yeah, that's actually a table read. There is a difference between the two.
Okay, fair enough.
But with this stage reading, they actually went all out. Like they got people in costumes and like. They went all out in the performance. A lot of people had scripts in hand, but some people didn't. So,
I noticed.
It seemed like some of them were able to, like for Joey Richter.
Yes,
Joey Richter, because there's two Joes in here.
Yeah, there's actually three.
Oh God, for Joey Richter, like he had a song where it just seemed like he knew the whole damn thing.
And good for him.
Yeah, good for him because it actually works quite well for the emotion and works quite well for the comedy of it. It's actually it's a really solid song.
It is.
Unlike Holy Musical Batman, I'm liking the songs again. Thank you, AJ Holmes and crew.
And Darren Criss, and a bunch of people made songs.
Darren Criss is not credited for the music in this one.
I think it was a special thanks, and I'm assuming that's for stuff like going back to Hogwarts, where it's like a callback.
Yeah,
like all the different songs that Darren Criss performed wrote in the first one.
Yeah, exactly. So experiences with this again. This is your first time watching this musical.
Correct.
I have a storied history with this. I watched Harry Potter musical, and then I watched a Harry Potter sequel.
And now you're watching the trilogy.
Yep, it's just like Cars.
Yep. That's right. It's like now I'm thinking back to like Rance is saying you can't have a trilogy without 3 movies.
I mean, think of a better way to describe Cars 3 though. You can't.
You can't. You really can't. So I don't remember too much about this one. I think this was at the point where I was just like, Holy Musical Batman just made me go from like obsessed StarKid fan and be like, oh, they're okay. I'll watch them whenever they're on. Mm-hmm. And then I just remembered it one day popping up and be like, they made it another one? What? Because like I didn't think they would be able to make another one, at least chronologically forward.
Yeah, this is the ironically sequel is the prequel. This is the sequel.
This is technically sequel.
Yeah.
Although there's some time traveling elements in the second one in the sequel, so arguably. Anyway, it's just and I just remember watching and being like, oh, this is gonna be a way to conclude it, because this has to be the end, right? And I watched it. I was happy to see everybody again, see Darren Criss back as Harry Potter, see most of the returning cast back, with some exceptions.
There's a couple exceptions.
A couple of exceptions. We'll talk about that. And I remember at the time, like, I didn't read the books for Harry Potter. The movies, while I feel they were great, I didn't feel like this is the end of Harry Potter for me. I'm done with it now. I didn't really feel that with this. I remember as a kid, or like when I watched this musical, because it came out like 2014, 2015, right?
This one came out in 2013.
2013. Oh, wow. So like just when I was in college, when we were in college. And I just remember being like, okay, watching this and feeling like, I'm good with Harry Potter now. It's done. And I meant not in a bad way. Like, it's finished. It's like, it's wrapped up neatly in a bow.
Like Cars 3.
A lot of this musical is about wrapping up Harry Potter. Like, the second act especially is, like, really explicit about, like, moving on. Like, they have a whole thing about the replacing Spider-Man. And like Darren Walker suddenly defending Spider-Man 3. It's like, Sam Raimi did the best he could. Go ahead.
No,
continue.
That's pretty much it. Like, I just thought it was a great way to end it. I probably was cried knowing my luck, especially near the end, because it was just emotional. Because this was like not only saying goodbye to Harry Potter, but also like StarKid's kind of moving on in an era with, and also Darren saying goodbye to StarKid because he's moving on. He moved on to bigger and better things.
This truly was like a turning point. Like, I guess because like the first turning point really was Starship.
Yeah.
But this is the actual end of an era. Moving on from high school, college buddies, and now you're an actual production.
They brought back a lot of the original cast as much as they could. Not everyone, but you definitely can tell, like, they're just doing this just to wrap loose ends of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Just to, like, say goodbye to it.
They brought back people that had no involvement in Harry Potter. Like, the guy who played Sweet Tooth, I'm pretty sure makes a cameo.
Oh, yeah, he's in it. He's in it, all right. We'll talk about him later.
I also found out that they were almost going to bring in Vanessa from Me and My Gumshoe, but she couldn't make it for personal reasons.
Yeah, there's a couple people who didn't make it, and I'm like, Crab just dies off screen. And that was all they did. because the actress couldn't make it. There's one other person who's really noticeable that I want to talk about, but we'll get there when we get there.
Oh, I forgot about
We'll get there when we get there.
The one that we all kind of noticed right away.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Right off the bat, they even made a joke about like how people will come to accept me as a replacement or whatever the line was.
Pretty much. We'll get there. But that's my experience with the film, and I thought it was good. I thought it was just a nice way to wrap it all up at the time. Do I think that now? Let's find out.
All right.
What else?
What is the plot? Yes, what is the plot?
Do you want me to do it? I haven't done it in a while. Or
you do it if you want to.
Do
you want to do it for Twisted? Because you can do it for the next two. It's fine.
I want to do it for Twisted, so go ahead.
So do both. It's
okay,
fine.
Fine. I'll do it. So it takes place in Harry Potter's senior year, and Harry Potter's going through his last year of Hogwarts, and Gilderoy Lockhart comes in and tells him, like, hey, you're not that cool. And Harry Potter is just over now.
Who's Gilderoy Lockhart? You just said that name. You didn't explain what that is.
Maybe I haven't done this in a while. So Gilderoy Lockhart, famous author of many different books who are very familiar to people in the human world, is now the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, and he basically upstages Harry and tells him that Harry is an old hat, and that he's not cool anymore. And there's a new people in town, come on, Harry, you're old school. People are moving on from Harry Potter. And Harry Potter just desperately tries to regain his status back by like, and the whole play is him trying to like be cool again, while also trying to figure out the mysteries with the Chamber of Secrets and what's going on there. So we're getting elements from the second book, which is basically, we're getting elements from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is a snake lair.
That's right. Yes,
and we also see elements of Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort, and we get more of his backstory as well. And it's just a mix of all that together, and like Harry trying to figure out how to deal with Harry Potter ending and what that means for him.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the whole shebang.
Yeah. The whole theme is about just like everything ends and that's okay. That's pretty much the theme of Harry Potter Senior Year.
There's literally a song about like everything.
Literally
ending.
called Everything Ends.
Yeah.
Where should we start? I mean, because
So before we start, I just want to say one thing. This is more fitting than we thought to follow up Edgar Wright with, because that plot synopsis, moving on, that's like all of The World's End. I was thinking of The World's End a lot while watching this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
There were a lot more similar. I mean, I didn't go in expecting any similarities. I wasn't expecting The World's End 2.0.
Yes, The World's End Harry Potter edition.
But the more that I watched it, the more I was like, oh wow, they're sending the same message, and they're doing it in a way that's not that different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like it's like when did the very first like Harry Potter musical, was that 2009?
Think so.
Yeah,
it was somewhere between 2008 and 2010, 100%.
Yeah.
Right. So
I want to say 2009.
I want to say so too.
Yeah. So like by that point, like everybody's like I'm almost certain that by this point everybody has graduated, and now it's just kind of this midlife crisis of just realizing. Whereas like World's End was an actual midlife crisis, this is mid, and it's just kind of just reckoning with the big change that this like this and I found out that they wrote this like immediately after, because Random was saying earlier, how the hell do you follow up from that from sequel? But it turned out that they already were working on this right after the sequel, and they just kind of like kept it in a box, I guess, because there's like, well, there's just no chance with a production as big as this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was big.
It
so
literally had
many
like he even had some like StarKids only appeared in like one production, like the girl from Me and My Gumshoe, the guy with the like bushy hair from Holy Musical Batman, and like Brant Cox. It's nice to see them again, but at the same time, it's just like it's a huge production, so there's no way they can get this many people
in production. It was so big that I didn't even realize that there was a Harry Potter. There's an actual Harry Potter actor.
Yes. That's the thing. You see her right from the beginning. The actual actress from actress of Luna Lovegood makes a cameo in this.
I saw her and it's like, oh, okay. She looks kind of like Luna Lovegood, I guess. And then it wasn't so like already finished.
Really?
Yeah, that was why they were cheering her when she entered the screen. I thought they were cheering her just because, oh my god, we finally get to see Luna Lovegood. But in this case, that is Luna Lovegood.
That is her. She is like, they actually got her to like play the role, and I'm not sure if this was a planned thing or like.
I thought I don't want to sound mean, but I thought she was like the worst actress out of all.
Yes, I think she wasn't prepared like at all.
No,
I don't think so.
She missed her notes a lot.
She's great actress. Bless her heart. She seems very sweet, and she looks like she was having a fun time. but it looks like they were just like maybe got her last minute and just gave her the script and be like, just do your best. And
you say she had a good time, but I can't be the only one who noticed that, like, at the very end when they were doing the teary goodbye to Darren Criss, like, they got to Ivana Lynch, the actress, and she just kind of like waved a bit and then slinked away.
Yeah.
Like when I saw that, I was like, do they have like bad blood or something? What happened? Why aren't they hugging? But then I realized, because like for her, it's extremely awkward.
I think maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But
I think she just thought it was awkward. That's why. No, it was like everybody's having a teary reunion.
She was part of this like heartfelt moment with StarKid, and she's just a guest performer.
She's just a cameo, and she's just here because she happened to be at the convention, and they said, "Hey, do you wanna? We could use the space for Luna Lovegood. You are Luna Lovegood, so would you like to give it a shot? Because I don't know if she said no, she's not very hard to replace. She's barely had any role."
She was mostly in the beginning. Had a few lines of like her smoking a joint and like a few other things, and just like I think the goal thing with Luna Lovegood is just like, oh, this sweet little girl who is like very soft spoken and proper in the movies. We're gonna have her smoke a joint and just and say dark things about killing people.
I guess.
Which, if you watch the movies, is hysterical. Because you do know her as just like this weird, soft-spoken character, and it's like
I do remember her as like the weird character. It was just that like I think I was also just kind of annoyed with almost everything about this. Like up until like the second act won me over kind of. There's a part that was like where it lost me all over again, but. When Harry Potter stopped acting like a complete dick, then I was getting into it. But the first,
yeah. Are we gonna talk about Harry now?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Harry Potter and how
the world's end. The world's end. Let's talk about that movie, right?
I was gonna say let's talk about Cars 3 and how Lightning McQueen didn't change.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point too. I was just gonna say it's like a Gary King thing because everybody loves him for no reason. Well, I mean, in Gary King's case, nobody loves him, but like he thinks he does. Here, it's Gary King if they actually fed into him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was like so dickish.
It's so annoying because of sequel, not even because of musical. It's just so annoying because of sequel. Like, we see that he didn't start out as a jerk. He actually knows. Yeah. Like, he knows humility. He knows this stuff. But it's gone. It's what he used to be. It's just gone.
Yeah, he unlearned it in the first musical.
To be fair, even the characters call out how mean he is at points. So at least
no, but that's wrong because at the beginning of Act 2, Ron had this impassionate speech about how you're all so ungrateful. Harry Potter saved your life and you're not being grateful. How dare you? Like they weren't calling him out for being a jerk. They were just saying that he was lame.
Yeah, And at the beginning of Act 1, everybody loved him. It wasn't until what's his name showed up and was like, "He's yesterday's news," that they were all like, maybe this guy's hot, so let's agree with him.
It was so tiring to see this all over again and for 2 hours. 2 hours.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
And it didn't help that every single time Harry Potter spoke, it sounded like an OBS recording.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on with his microphone.
Yeah, like the audio. I thought this about Holy Musical Batman too, but generally, the audio got better with Starship. There was just a problem with like people speaking or singing over for each other. Minor, I can handle it. Holy Musical Batman, it got better. It was like, okay, all right, we're good. Nowhere to go but up. And then here, everybody else's is fine.
Yeah, it's just Darren Criss apparently one mic was broken. The problem is they gave it to the leading man.
Yeah. Why not just switch mics with like, I don't know.
I don't think they ever found out.
I don't think they could because Darren Criss was on like literally most of the whole show.
Well, it's like I was expecting that there would be like an intermission where they like they'd be like, "Oh shit, we gotta fix the mic thing. Like we can't hear Darren Criss. We have to use the camera audio." So that's what happened. You can hear like it's like every time it switches back, it's just like it's suddenly like you can hear like the speaker feedback. That's how bad it was.
What if it was broken and it just didn't? And didn't have any more.
I think it was broken. Because like you can see the microphone, but like there were bit characters that you can hear more clearly than Harry Potter.
Yeah. I don't know. Darren Criss didn't bother me that much, and probably because I knew what was gonna happen in Act 2, where I was like, okay, it makes him slightly more redeemable. But there were points where I'm just like, come on, man. Like when he broke up with Ginny, I was like, why? You're doing this for plot. I know why, but why?
Yeah, it was that was
can
like.
Can we talk about when this annoyed the hell out of me? It's about Harry. It's not Darren Criss specifically, but you know he's trying to win everybody over after I forget his name. Calls him out, and he takes out the guitar and he's like, Hermione can't draw. Hermione can't draw. And someone's like, you can't say that. It's rude and offensive. And I'm like, are you calling people out for saying that? Like, hello.
I think
No. The way that she said it was rude and offensive.
Yeah. I think
like, that's not, oh, this is a character being like, oh, you know, the original hasn't aged so well. Let's poke fun at it. It's actually like, shut up, detractors. Like,
oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a double side.
It's like it wouldn't be so bad if they weren't right. Like, yes, it is rude and offensive. It doesn't hold up.
But I think that's what they were maybe going for. But also, the joke was dumb. Like nobody was even. I think it was like, oh, nobody laughed. It was just like, oh, yeah, reference.
Like the only reactions you really heard are people being like, oh yeah, that thing from the first one.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, oh, we're back to this, and everybody's saying no. You suck. I mean, granted, like they I don't think there was really any point. Oh, except for the teacher, because I was gonna say there's no real point where they're like abusing Hermione. But there is this stuff with the teacher, which
we'll get to
talk about. I'll talk about that.
We're jumping all over the place again, which is what we kind of tend to do with these musicals, which I don't mind. I kind of
well, for what it's worth, I can at least say that I think my least favorite thing about it was Harry. I think I could say that with relative confidence.
I don't know.
I mean, there's other things that I didn't like about it, but I think if I had to pick like a core problem that it's just like you have to like completely rework, I would say Harry.
I don't think he's that bad, but maybe I'm just like used to it at this point, and also nostalgia. So
I hate nostalgia as an excuse, but that's a different topic. That's a different topic.
No, I'm not saying that it makes it right, but I'm just saying that's why I probably don't mind it as much. Granted, that doesn't make it right, and it's still, if it's a problem, it's a problem. It doesn't affect me personally that much. Because I think I'm just used to it, and it did get to points where I was like, come on, man, Harry, stop, but because because it made me actually sympathize with more characters than I thought I would. Like there was a point, I want to talk about, you know what? No, screw it. I sympathize with Draco a lot in this because Draco was actually nice in this one most of the time.
Yeah, and it's like the breaking point for Draco, which this is important. The breaking point for Draco is when Harry, like, you know, everybody is against Harry. The only person on his side is Draco. And Harry just delivers, like, the worst insult to Draco. And that's just, like, that's it. You know, the one person who's so desperate for a friend, you just lost it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, wow. I'm glad Draco became best boy, or whatever it's called.
No, I just realized that I guess if we're talking about Draco barely did any of the quote dancing.
Yeah, like laying around, and they also barely mentioned the diaper thing. Like they made one joke about it.
They made a nod at it early on, and I'm like, oh great, here we go again. And then that was it.
That was
it. Thank God. Thank fuck.
I actually
So
really
that's
like,
why I think this is better than sequel.
honestly, I really like what they did with Draco in this one. I
did too.
They made them so redeemable and still funny too.
One of my biggest laughs of the whole play was when Harry and Ron made that anti-campaign poster. Draco comes by, he reads it, and he's like, "This is perfect. Did you do this?"
And Glowdus just nods.
Yeah, he's like, "Yes."
Oh yeah, he just nods like yes.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is that like they make him redeemable, but they also, I don't know, if like when the beginning of the second act, it felt like they were doing like a Scar presiding over the kingdom, where everybody was like miserable and they're angry at Malfoy, and Malfoy also does like bargaining over like the school is about to blow up and like children are about to die, but Malfoy was still like doing like a devil's bargain. I don't know.
Well, to be fair,
that was after Harry pretty much told him like, you suck, right?
Yeah, that's after he told.
That was like, yeah,
that was Malfoy's breaking point, and it feels justified almost.
Yeah, because I mean, understand that it's like nobody likes Draco. Like if this was a character that generally got along with everybody, it would be. I mean, I'm not saying like this is perfect, but I can at least see from a character who's like, nobody likes me. This is how everybody's gonna generally treat me. This is how I'm gonna treat them. I can see it.
And it's not like Draco didn't try.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Draco tried to bury he literally buries the hatchet from the very beginning, and just Harry isn't having any of it. And at first you're like, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe they have some bad beef in the past, but the longer the play goes on, and everyone slowly turns on Harry, you're like, come on, just be friends with the guy. But no, Harry stands his ground because that's how it was in the past, and he doesn't let go of the past, and that causes Malfoy to reach their breaking point, and which causes the conflict in this school is mine. And yeah, I really like Draco in this. I do. I do miss
the dramatic moving around, but I at least understand. It's because poor Lauren Lopez has to actually like read the script live.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Believe me, if she memorized it, she would be probably.
Oh yeah, I'm
sure.
sure. I mean, she still had her moments, like when she hopped on the candy trolley and started moving, and like she started freaking out because it was going so bad. Like that's good. That's good. That's one of those things where it's like, I know if you could do more, you would.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the limitations of a stage reading.
Exactly.
Speaking of improvements, Joey Richter is Ron. I also really liked him in this one.
100% agree.
100% more likable than the other two, than very.
I think
him not constantly making fun of other people for their looks makes him likable.
He definitely. I mean, I would say that he's already like vastly improved in sequel, but in here, yeah, he's good.
I mean, in sequel,
even Joey Richter. Like, I know we're generally talking about like Ron and the writing, but Joey Richter, I just thought like in general he did much better. It was much less of him just being really loud all the time. It was, he was loud when he was allowed when it called for it. He was subtle when it called for it. I felt a lot more out of his story than I did for Harry's. No lie.
Yeah, especially with the song where he's talking about being a sidekick, and it's just like,
it's a good song.
Here we go.
It's one of the most iconic songs in the show, I think. But yeah,
I didn't so much like that. Another girl kissed him, and it was like, oh, you cheated. And I hated that actually.
That's the joke. That's the joke.
That's the. It's like that Simpsons clip. That's the joke.
That's the joke.
Yeah, but they play it so serious. Like no. So when she kisses Ron, like that scene's fine. That scene I got a good laugh at because Joey Richter's a good actor.
Yeah,
but when the breakup happened between him and Hermione, and they had an argument, and the whole core of the argument was that he cheated on her because another girl kissed him. That's when I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it just because of what came out of it, but it's like I probably should.
Yeah, It was one of those things. It was the misunderstanding trope.
I didn't want to name it specifically that, but it's like if you want the short reason of why I hate that trope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a liar reveal in their mind, because I don't think it wasn't really a misunderstanding because there was a kiss.
Yes.
It's just that in their mind, a kiss is as good
as sex.
As sex, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And it's weird because they're 17 now, and they clarify that right from the beginning this time.
That's the thing. They say they're 17. And also Hermione like offers her body to a teacher, to a professor.
We're getting there. At least what's the word? We'll get there. We're still talking about Ron.
Okay, fine.
But I still want to talk about Ron a bit more before we get to Hermione and that scene. But I feel like we have to talk about Gilderoy to get to that point too. Anyway, Ron. Go back to Ron. Ron Weasley. I like him a lot. He's a much better singer. He's a much better actor.
Yes.
He's a lot more likable.
Yes.
There's some even points where I think he even calls Harry out on a few things.
Yeah, big one in Act 2 when Harry's moping and doping. Like, big one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was also like a props to Joey Richter for getting like a good amount of drama out of a stage reading. Like,
yeah.
I felt it.
Like, I almost feel like he didn't have a script even. Like, I didn't even notice it at points, the script, because he was into that performance.
I'll be honest at this point. Like, up to now, I've been kind of sticking to favorite actors Joe Walker, but Joey Richter. I think he's my favorite actor out of StarKid. I think I can say that with confidence now.
You and a lot of people definitely agree with that. I still have to. I have to rethink it, but Joey Richter is really a good choice.
I don't know who my favorite singer was before this, but I definitely have my mind set on favorite singer now, and we'll get to him. But it's predictable. It's a pretty predictable answer.
I'm trying to think who it could be. Honestly,
it's pretty predictable.
Do we have anything else to say about Ron?
Anything else before then? We'll get to Hermione.
I felt really bad for him, but I really liked him.
Yeah,
it's almost like Mike Wazowski from Monsters U, except the whole movie wasn't out to get him, so it was much better.
Mm-hmm.
And this time Joey Richter didn't say, "I've been a real jerk."
Well, no, Harry should have said that. Harry actually should have said that. Hello.
You tried to do what Pixar Spectre Never Dies, and you foiled it.
I'm trying.
Well, I mean, it's still. I could say Pixar Spectre Never Dies. It's fine.
Anyway, yeah, I think that's all we have to say. Let's move on to Hermione and let's address the elephant in the room. It's not Bonnie.
Well, yes, it is not Bonnie. They say explicitly. It is Meredith Stepien?
The person who played Mega Girl.
The person who played Mega Girl, correct. And it's not Bonnie Goosen. Bonnie Goosen, I think she had to. I think she was already performing in something else. I forget what the details were. There were a lot of different for the people that couldn't make it. Like that was the big one. That like one of the trio couldn't make it. To be frank, I wouldn't have. It's clearly a very different actor, and I would even say a different performance too.
Yeah,
like, she performed the character very differently from like Bonnie Grusin was playing it was more like exasperated. I never got to appreciate it. I never got to appreciate that, but she was very much being like, I'm like the smartest person here, and nobody cares. Nobody, and she's just so like anxious and stuff. And Meredith, God bless her. I mean, we all loved her as Mega Girl. I think she just played it like, I don't know. It was just like, it didn't feel like Hermione to me. It didn't. I don't know what it was.
I think it's just that, we had them for 2 plays. This is the 3rd. It's the final send-off. Not everyone is here, but, if it has that feeling to it. So when something's off, you really notice.
Yeah. I almost want to say she's played it too confidently by this point, and maybe that's supposed to be the point of it. Maybe that's how the character is written, but I don't know. It didn't feel like the Hermione that we've seen before. Not just because of the new actor.
Yeah, I can agree. It's a whole different actor, different performance. So, it's not going to be the same. It won't ever be the same unless they actually got Bonnie. But they couldn't, and they had to make do because they needed Hermione in. And it definitely threw me off when I first watched it. But I was like, oh, okay, at least it's someone we know. But yeah, it is a totally different performance. She is a lot more confident as Hermione. She's a lot more.
I noticed she smiled way more than she used to. Now I think about it, like she actually had like a full grin for quite a lot of this. Now that I think on it, yeah.
I wonder how soon she was Hermione in the production, because like I don't know if she had like as much time to develop her character. I don't want to call it phoned in. I don't want to call it phoned in. I just like you said, it's not quite the same. It's not quite the same.
Right.
It's different. It's different. I think that's fair.
But the thing is, I didn't mind it though. Like it was more like just here or there. Like, oh, Hermione's here. She has her moments, but she's not really the main focus.
I'm kind of with Random on this one. I feel like if it was on, a generally better character, then I would have maybe been like, yeah, that's a little weird. Like if you replaced Ron or Voldemort, then it would just be like, no. But for somebody like Hermione, I think it's whatever.
It works. The thing is, as much as I hate to admit it, she's not the main focus in this play.
No, she doesn't have much of a focus at all? Could you even say that?
She was supposed to write Harry's essay. She didn't. He got mad at her.
She likes Gilderoy Lockhart.
And then things got awkward, and then the play ended.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about that scene, or should we talk about Gilderoy Lockhart first? Or is there anything else you want to say about Hermione? Because I can't really say anything else other than Meredith did her best.
I don't know, the character itself, like I think we've kind of already said, they just kind of flattened out. There wasn't much to her.
I mean, Meredith did a good job still, but like it's just, I don't think the character was written that well.
I mean. Yeah, the writing, it was just like,
they didn't know what to do with her.
We got? Yeah.
Maybe they would have done something more if they actually got Bonnie on board, but like, I don't know. Literally near the half of the second act, she's petrified. So
yeah.
She's not even welcome back to Hogwarts.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
She walked. Yeah, that's right. Because they did like the big they did their like the big goodbye thing. Was Hermione there?
She was, but she didn't say goodbye. She said, "Well, I guess what's gonna happen next?" And then her and Ron left. And then Ron said, "You coming, buddy?" as one of his last line, and then Harry does his last line, which I won't say till later. So yes and no.
I know why something that they have Hermione for is so that she can say fan fiction and the crowd goes wild.
Oh god.
Yeah.
The crowd went wild.
Yeah.
Is it the mere mention of fan fiction?
Can we talk about Gilderoy Lockhart first before we talk about
Let's talk about Gilderoy Lockhart.
Again,
right.
AJ Holmes is great. I love him. Sorry, continue, Kirby.
No, I was just gonna ask what we thought of the character.
It's AJ Holmes being an asshole. I love it.
It's very much the same character as it's a very similar character as Hart from Me and My Gumshoe.
But also he has a bit of a crazy complex in him. Like
yeah, I'll grant, and this is a shout out to the camera who did the best they could given the much different situation that they usually have. But this very slow zoom that they did as Gilderoy explained his plot to shrink into the size of a mouse and then become a mouse king and then go in a war against the frogs and then lose.
That whole fucking monologue.
And he nailed it, and the camera didn't cut a single time to check on the reaction. They just kept him going like this is his scene.
That was his moment. That was his moment in the play, and it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I will be upfront. I love the actor. I did not like the character, but that monologue was probably top 2 parts of the whole production.
Yeah.
And then he does another monologue later where with Ron doing his evil plan, and then it's like, it's okay. It has some Harry Potter jokes that I like because like it references all the merchandise in Harry Potter, like butterbeer and like it calls.
Oh yeah.
And then that's all great. And then he calls back the mouse thing, and then I'm laughing even harder.
I already forgot like how Gilderoy left because
he ran away from the wizard cops, and that's it.
Yeah, he shrunk himself.
Okay. Yeah, because it seemed like he was gonna be like a major, like it seemed like he was gonna be like a major villain, and he just runs away.
Yeah, well, that's it reminded me. I mean, I didn't like him nearly as much, but it reminded me a lot of Junior in Starship. How it's like, you know, he has this specific aspiration, and you think he's gonna be like this big bad, but as it turns out, he's just some dork that wants to do something really dumb. Well, I like Junior a lot more because he actually is an intimidating threat, even though it's like, you know, oh, this is just some loser kid who wants to buy weed, but it's like, oh shoot, he's actually cunning and manipulative and downright like evil. You know, this is just a guy that wants to make money, and that's fun.
He wants to make money and shrink himself
down to the size of a mouse, so that he can become a mouse king. Yeah, and bait the frogs, do all that.
Like,
I think I like him. I don't think I want to rewatch this again, but I feel like I would probably like him more knowing that he's not actually a bad guy. He's actually kind of a red herring. Like, you think he's going to be involved with Voldemort.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, he's not. And then at one point, I think he even says something about there being a red herring. And it's like, oh, it's like you. So if I were to watch it again, I'd probably like him more. As of right now, I'm going to stick with, I wasn't crazy about the character, but AJ Holmes.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the character is just like, he's technically just a villain who wants to make money, but that monologue and
the monologue and the performance like elevate him for sure.
And also they had the thing from the Planet of the Apes musical where it's like, can I play the piano? Of course you can. Well, I couldn't before, and he just starts playing the piano, and I was just. And that was, I guess that was like fun for the live performance of it, to see like, oh, okay, it's like like a lot of talents on this kid.
Yeah,
just doing it in character too. I didn't even notice that he was still in costume while he was in the band.
Oh yeah, he was.
That was fun to see.
That was great because you just see Gilderoy Lockhart playing a piano, and I'm like, oh, cool.
And the piano thing especially pays off for a blooper that happens later on, but I don't know if I want to talk about that one just yet.
There's a couple bloopers in this.
There's a couple bloopers. There's one in particular that involved AJ Holmes. But
before we move on, do I want to talk about the scene?
The scene
with Hermione and Gilderoy.
I like double hate that scene. This is like the 4th time I've been talking about, you know, Starship being problematic in these things. But it's like, it's double. Oh, StarKid, thank you. No, Starship is like the opposite of problematic. I'm sorry. But it double sucks with this one because the scene is so like disgusting. And then he goes on the monologue and it's one of the best parts, but you can't appreciate it.
You know what? I'll give them credit for one thing. At least they do the whole thing where, yes, it's gross that she comes on to a teacher, but at least they make it so Gilderoy is oblivious to it all. Like, he's in his own little world.
This isn't like sequel where it's a teacher coming on to what's probably like, they're like 10, we could say now, because it's just like Lupin hitting on 10-year-olds. Oh my god, that
was awkward. At least with this one, I mean, disregard the fact that they're like 17 now.
I gotta mute him.
No, that's the thing. You can't.
I feel like I'm gonna barf.
No, but the thing is, like, A, no, you can't disregard that they're 17.
No, and B, let me finish. Like,
even if you can disregard them, this is a student-teacher relationship, which is major bad.
What I am saying is that, I mean, I wouldn't take either, but if you were to ask me which one is worse, Well, first I would say, first I would say they're both problematic. Why are you asking which one is worse when they're both really bad? But I would also say if you force me to answer, I don't know what you would do to make me answer, but if you were to technically force me to answer, technically, sequel is worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, in the sliding scale.
It's a weird scene. I understand why they did it for plot reasons. Because they wanted to to introduce that monologue, I guess. I don't know.
No, you didn't. That's the thing. You don't have to do that at all. She could have just said, like, what are you gonna, like, they could have just had a conversation where it's like, what, because the thing, like, on Gilderoy's side, he's just berating Hermione.
Yeah.
And Hermione just keeps making innuendo, and then it just it's like the innuendo is becoming more and more obvious, and it's like, why?
I guess there's a weird trope in theater where, not with the student-teacher thing, it's a weird trope where, like, people say with innuendos in theater, and I guess that's what they were trying to do, because I've seen that done in Lend Me a Tenor, like, but it's with, like, two adults, not a student and teacher, and I guess they thought that would have been funny, but I'll at least get the point that, yes, they're both bad, but at least they don't encourage it, like, the teacher doesn't take advantage of it this time. So, like, still bad, but like I said, and I still wish they just, like, did a conversation led to the fucking mouse monologue, which is one of the best things I've had of best and weirdest things StarKid has ever written about Gilderoy Lockhart, because there's as far as I know, there's no mention in the movies or book about him with mice. So I don't know what the hell they smoked to come up with that monologue. But who is Gilderoy Lockhart like an important character in the? He is in the Chamber of Secrets.
I'm trying to look him up. Okay, so I kind of recognize the actor, but that's about it.
Wait.
What? I was just making sure you're still there.
Oh yeah.
What?
I'm not. No. Now that the realization hit that, like, they were 10, I've got, like, knots. I've got, like, knots in my stomach now. Like,
I thought they were 12 at the time of the show.
Yeah,
I thought
they were
11.
I thought they were like I mean, teenagers is still disgusting, but it's like they're actual, like, bona fide children.
Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah.
That just. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I like sequel a little bit less.
That's okay. I don't like how those jokes are handled, and
the crowd was super into it.
That's because it was the idea of Hermione hitting on someone that just made people laugh at the time. I don't know. Again, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying
that whatever wasn't directed at you. That was a hard whatever directed at the crowd.
Yeah. I don't know. And also, sex is funny. Apparently, like, that thing. I guess that trope. Again. That's definitely a theater thing. I've seen that so many times. Again, I was in a production of Lend Me a Tenor, and there was a
Broadway
whole
actors just, like, super horny.
I think it's as simple as, like, oh, sex, how improper! Like, we're still in Victorian times.
Yeah. Now I don't think. Again, this is not like. This would not fly now. This scene would not fly, and if it did, it would maybe more of a dramatic flair to it. Like, again, it would have been easier just been like, hit and be like, oh God, what should I do? Oh, I know, I'll go to Gilderoy for advice. He'll know what to do. He's smart. He can write books.
Gilderoy, what do I do? I want to become the size of a mouse.
I want to go into war with the frogs.
I mean, to be fair, there wouldn't have gotten as much innuendos, but would that have been any worse?
The whole appeal of that scene was the monologue. So, like,
it really was.
Exactly. You exactly proved the point. Like, it would have just been better off. All right, we've been talking about this for too long now, though. Let's move on.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Who else do we want to talk about?
I want to talk about a character who I strongly disliked in the previous two, and finally, I liked. Random, can you guess who?
Ginny?
Random, can you guess who? Dumbledore.
Yes, I noticed I liked him a lot more in this one too.
Yeah, because they got rid of it. Again, they got rid of everything creepy. What a shock. What a surprise. You get rid of the creepy stuff and he's actually, like, really likable.
Yeah, because they actually, I mean, he's only in as flashbacks with Voldemort. or Tom Riddle.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Tom
and he
Riddle.
has a killer suit. I love that suit.
Yeah.
That's a really good suit.
But no, like when he's talking to Tom Riddle, he legitimately seems like sympathetic. He wants to help him.
Yeah, and he doesn't like throw shade at him, like insulting like other students. He just like, hey Tom, let me tell you about this great place. You have some good gifts. I think you would be beneficial at Hogwarts. I'm like, this is the Dumbledore.
Yeah, I remember you describing Dumbledore in the previous two as like this chill guy, and I can never think that just because stuff. But watching him here, it's like, oh, this is the Dumbledore that Random has seen for 2 plays now. I can see it.
Yeah.
I finally get to see it.
I love Always Dance and how this is a time where you get to see Voldemort and Dumbledore in a song together.
And teaching him how to do the tap dance that we got to see.
Oh, yes. I love how it starts with Now You Are a Boy, an Orphan Boy. It's just a callback to Dance Again, and it's nice.
That was my favorite song of the whole thing.
Always Dance?
Always Dance, yes.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, too. It, and I think Sidekick.
I might have to, if we're talking about favorite song, I might have to go with either Sidekick or Everything Ends. Everything Ends was honestly like pretty damn emotional.
That's yeah, it really was.
Oh yeah.
I might have to go with that one, but unlike Holy Musical Batman, there's a lot more to the picking in terms of favorite songs.
Yes. But with Dumbledore, he's not in it too much. He's only in like 2 scenes as Dumbledore. 3 if you count him as the construction worker, because that's obviously what they're hinting towards.
Yeah.
That was nice too, because he was.
Yeah, I like the callback to there's 2 things in this world that I love, and you're one of them. I like that callback.
Yeah, he said that to both Voldemort and Harry, which was nice.
Yeah.
When he showed up, I thought like that he just had a beard on just because like it was a wizard beard, and at first I thought it was a callback to him as a construction worker in Holy Musical Batman.
No, my thing,
because you see him with 2 beards.
My thing. This is how you know I'm thinking about this way too hard. So he tells Tom Riddle, "There's only 2 people I love, and you're one of them." And it's like, oh, that's so nice. And then he tells it to Harry, and it's like, oh, that's nice. And I'm like, wait a minute. Obviously, he doesn't love Voldemort anymore. Otherwise, it would be 3 people, not 2. So who's the second person that he loves? Zac Efron. It makes sense.
Well, I thought the way I interpret it is like he loves.
I guess it could be Snape.
Harry
it could be Snape too. It could be Snape too.
I was thinking he loves Harry and Voldemort, but Harry wasn't alive back then.
Yeah, Harry wasn't alive. He didn't know who Harry was, or he wasn't alive. That too.
Yeah.
Neither was Zac Efron at the time.
It could also be Snape. That could work too.
I like Zephron because Zephron isn't in this music.
I know. I was shocked.
Come on, come on, StarKid, get your head in the game.
Yeah, and you know what else wasn't here? No red vines.
No red vines. There was another candy bar.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there was another sponsor, Audible.com. Go to audible.com/StarKid Spotlight for 15% off your first 10 purchases.
No, there's no code. Shush. At least not yet.
Ooh.
No, never.
But there was another candy mentioned. But before we do that, is there anything else you want to talk about Dumbledore before we get to his dancing friend?
I liked him. I actually liked him this time.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he was good. Voldemort.
And of course, a hell of a voice, as always.
Also, just shout out to Dylan Saunders.
Yeah. Again, he has a great voice, and they use it. But...
yeah, he's my favorite singer.
Yeah.
I
had a feeling,
predictable, but like at this point, it's just like, no, he's the best singer out of the whole group. Like, no concept.
Kirby, just you wait till next time.
Oh boy.
Just you wait.
I already know. I kind of already know what's going to be up ahead, but we'll talk about that.
You're going to be excited for next time. Anyway, Voldemort. Tom Riddle.
Voldemort. Before we talk about Voldemort and Tom Riddle, I'm going to say straight up, the very last scene.
They're married.
With him on the.
They're married and they have a daughter.
They have a daughter. She calls her daddy. They're married.
That was
Watch.
like just this,
Literally,
just this,
when Kirby fan finished this musical, they messaged me saying, "I'm screaming," and
It was like 1 a.m, and I was screaming.
it was.
it was very much like when Voldemort like appeared very briefly in the at the end of sequel, where just the sight of that was just like I was grinning. I was like, okay, fine. This is not as bad as me and my dick.
As word for word, I'm gonna read part of the conversation that Random and I had. Random says, "We'll talk about it Wednesday." I'll say, "Yeah, I just wanted to talk about it." Random responds, "I know."
Because the whole time I was thinking, I think there's literally a point in a Harry Potter musical is like where you ask, do they come back? And I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you, because if I told you, it would ruin the surprise. And it's great to see them both again, even if it's just at the end. And they closed the show, and it made me cry.
Them being gay closed the show again.
The thing is, like, they closed the show, and you hear the beginning of the song together, and I was so hoping to hear the full duet, and then it cuts to black. That tore my heart.
It was a beautiful. It was great to see them again. I'm happy the writers added them at least.
So the only thing that confused me about it, and this has nothing to do with the play, but the only thing that confused me was when when Voldemort is talking about the things that Harry taught him. He looks into Quirrell's eyes and says love, and Joe Walker, you can tell he's expecting something from the audience. There's like a little like, and then nothing. And you see him like ready to start again, and as he goes to talk, the audience loses it. Like, what was with the delay from the audience? Like, did it just take them a minute to understand that, like, hello?
Yes, apparently.
This audience sucked. This audience sucked.
And it was their only audience too. It's not like the others where they could like cobble together the different performances. This was all they got.
Hey, I'm sure the audience who may or may not be listening to this watching is very nice. But yeah, that whole scene was great. That was just a great way to end it off. Made me teary-eyed, and I thought it was great. But even so, like Voldemort and as Tom Riddle, we really empathized with him a bit.
I will say this, for all of the improvements that this has made over a musical, the best thing about it is still Joe Walker as Voldemort and Tom Riddle. I will say I think he's the best part about it again.
He was definitely like my favorite part of Act 1. Like when it got to the flashback and like Ginny was tell me, give me another magical flashback, and like I was getting like pumped up. And then meanwhile, when they go back and they have like a duel between Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy, I actually fell asleep. I passed out for a bit. I woke up and like, oh shit! I already missed the whole duel. And there's a snake on the ground. What the hell happened? Oh well, I'm not gonna go back to watch.
Harry killed a fucking snake.
I don't care.
Maybe so.
That made me too upset too, because at least like with the dragon, he puts it to sleep and goes 1, 2, 3. Yeah, beat the dragon. This one, he strangles the snake.
He snapped his neck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Jesus.
No.
That's dark. Anyway, back to Voldemort.
Yeah,
like, because he's not like evil inherently. He's misunderstood, and has an orphan. He thinks he's a monster because he killed his mom from birth. And Dumbledore's like, no, you're not a monster. You're a gifted magical person. Here's Hogwarts. And granted, he starts doing evil things there with Lucius and the other Death Eaters. Which, by the way, it's great to see them again as like students.
Yeah, to see like this whole like. It's like half cool, half nerd. I like that.
Yeah.
It was just, the posse that he had. That was fun.
The dancing posse literally entering to West Side Story's cool.
That was fun too.
Like, Lucius, I told you not to call me Tom.
I get your name right, Malloy. But even then, like when Dumbledore's like, "Hey, don't be doing this evil shit. I think you should take some time to be with your real father." I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then they have this whole like Phil Collins montage at first, where it's like they play a song that's not sung by the characters, And while Voldemort's getting ready, and then they start singing, and Bellatrix belt tricks, if you will. And it's nice to see him happy. And even though we all know it's gonna end horribly.
And just think he was that close to accepting his family for who they were, and then they offered him Snickers.
And that was the end of it.
And that was it.
Did you get that joke, Wash?
What, Snickers?
Yes.
Other than that he mentioned it earlier in the play?
Yes.
No.
Because it's an inside joke.
What inside joke?
It's an inside joke with, like, the show. Like, there's, like, a rehearsal. That's a joke that they had when they were, like, rehearsing a Harry Potter musical. Apparently, there was a place where they can get, like, convenience stores snacks right near where they rehearsed in the theater. And one time, Joe Walker wanted to get the snack. He wanted a power bar. And he told Jim Pavolo, hey, I got to put on my Voldemort makeup and get me a power bar. And Joe likes to, Jim Pavolo likes to pull pranks on people. So Voldemort, Joe Walker's getting into character as Voldemort with the makeup on, and he's like really getting into character. And then Jim Pavolo comes in and brings Joe Walker a Snickers bar instead of a power bar. And Joe Walker apparently just shouts at Jim and everyone else going, Snickers! And like the Voldemort voice. And everyone lost it. And Jim takes away the Snickers bar, shows the power bar and goes, gotcha. And apparently everybody in the cast memed about it. And it was such a joke that didn't end that it made its way into the play.
Oh, that's cute. That's actually kind of cute.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a random thing.
No.
I thought it was just a non sequitur.
No, it's an inside joke. And I'm like,
okay.
I had a feeling it was from the beginning, even when I first watched it, because I was like, there's no way. What the fuck? There's got to be a reason why this joke exists. And there's actually a video that explains it better than I could. So I'll send it to you after this. Anyway, I like Voldemort in this. He's really good.
This is not a Voldemort thing, but it is related to Voldemort. The scene where he has to change the diaper of his grandfather. That was like, and it was going on forever. It was like, oh god, we're getting Draco all over again.
There's a lot of things. All of us will agree. This musical went on for too long, and there was some moments that I think could have been cut or shortened. That's a moment that could have been cut. Like, they could have been like, hey, Grandpa, how you doing? Oh, I pooped myself. And then like, okay, we'll go to dinner, Grandpa. And then we'll move on to the dinner scene. There's some moments that I'm like, you could have cut this. You could have chopped this.
Yeah.
There's still so many characters we didn't even talk about. Like, Brian is Hagrid.
The crowd goes wild for Hagrid just because we finally get to see Hagrid again. It was
Hagrid at all. This is the first time in the musical.
I misspoke with saying Hagrid again. I wasn't laughing at it doing it, but like when I was thinking back at it, it's like, I just realized that like Hagrid is like with almost all of the scenes, like Hagrid is the shorter one of the bunch. Like everybody's like keep looking down at Hagrid.
Hagrid also showed one of the many moments of Darren Criss breaking character.
Yeah.
With the lap.
Darren Criss broke character so much time. And to be fair, I couldn't blame him. Is there anything? There's so many other characters, but I want to talk about the ending, a little bit because especially with Everything Ends, because that shows like that is like you said, a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And it like really seals like, hey, everything ends, but that's okay. It's how you end that matters. Yeah. And you see like a whole bunch of people from characters from the musical,
including Lupin covered in blood, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. Yes, that was great. You see Snape again. You see Harry's parents and
you see Harry's parents and the mom. They divorced, and the mom is now married to Cedric. I think you'll find me as a good father.
And he literally, Harry's reaction was mine. What the fuck?
You're still doing that?
Like we're at the I forget what the evil guy was in the Starship, but we're at that again with like I hate her.
Yeah. And then we get the reprise of Go Back to Hogwarts, which was really nice. It was a nice callback. I knew they were gonna. I'm surprised they did it barely in sequel, like as a last minute thing. But this one, it had story purpose, and I was hyped for that callback for Back to Hogwarts. I was really hyped, and it really got me into it. And it was like, all right, let's go. And then the ending, Voldemort faces where Harry faces Voldemort. Couple things to mention there. One, whoa, is that a flying diary? Ah, shit.
But that's my favorite one, and that was when like AJ Holmes go
my favorite thing. And then like you have this whole serious moment, and with the moment of possessed Ginny, which by the way, Ginny still is Ginny as a character, like doesn't really do much, but she at the same time she does a great performance with being possessed. Ginny does. It's like
she's definitely very good at crossing her eyes. I'll give her that. Yeah.
She goes all out, and I love it. So she doesn't sing as much as she should, but big props to her. She does a good job.
Mm.
But my favorite part of the ending involves an actor we haven't talked about yet, and it's weird that we haven't because they are very essential to this stage reading. It involves when Harry stabs a diary, and the narrator goes on this whole descriptive death scene.
Yes. And then he actually says the line, Joe Walker dies.
Do you know who voices the narrator?
I do know who voices the narrator.
I don't know.
It is Bob Jones, who you may know as the voice of Man Ray. I should clarify, not the original voice of Man, not the voice that we know from seasons 2 and 3. That was John Rhys Davis. But this is the guy that's been Man Ray since Light Camera Pants, and he's been playing Man Ray ever since. And he has that voice for it. But also, I also found out that like the Candy Lady happens to be not only his wife but also their agent. So they probably was just like, hey, my husband's Man Ray, you want to bring him over?
He's actually was in Starship too.
I wanted to mention that as well because I found that out that he was in the intro. He was doing the
future is now.
The future is now. Yeah, absolutely.
And he did such a good job because there were some things that like they had fun with the stage directions with this one a bit because they could. Because you can't really do that with like a live performance. So they had moments where it's like being as descriptive as possible with Ron responding to the stage direction.
Yeah.
Like, there's Ron with a doofy looking grin on his face. Hey, sorry, Ron.
I thought there was going to be more of that. There wasn't as much, but like it did pay off with Joe Walker dies.
Joe Walker
dies is like top 3 moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like one of the best moments in the whole show.
And you can see like Darren Criss can't like handle this. Just how much
he's so close to breaking. I love it.
I think he already broke.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of times where he couldn't really hold back the laugh. I guess working on Glee isn't as fun as working on this. I guess.
Yes. I was gonna say. My favorite. There's something magical about the bloopers because there were a lot of bloopers involving Darren Criss. There was the blooper of Chris Allen as Moaning Myrtle when like they're dragging the dead body. And
she was supposed to stay still, but like because it was really hard to drag the body, she just kept like kicking and she like wiggling up.
Yeah, and then the wing falls off, so they have to go back and get it. And then during all that, Dumbledore just goes, "Yeah." It's just props they roll with the punches.
To them for not breaking. That's
I'll give them props for that because like I wouldn't have been able to like hold it in.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like there's so much more to talk about with this one because it's 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours and there's tons of characters. It's like
Tons.
it's like Endgame. It's just way too much.
The thing
they,
is,
they wrapped it up. It should have been shorter, but they wrapped it up, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll give this if we're talking about the ending, like the part that like I quite liked, though it was just more of like just seeing these people. Of course, it's like the goodbye where it was very clearly like breaking character, and especially Darren Criss saying to Lauren Lopez, calling Lauren Lopez a friend.
Aww.
You can see that was to Draco and that was to Lauren.
Yeah.
Like she broke.
Yo,
she was in
broke. That broke me.
That was just so that was nice. That was nice to see.
Yeah.
That was very nice and very concluding and very fitting with like the whole how Draco's character was. It was a nice way to end it off.
It felt like a sitcom ending where it's like it's time to close up the bar and it's like, well, it's time to turn off the lights.
It really did feel like it was just like, all right, how nicely do you want me to tie this bow?
Yeah.
It literally ends with
like I know we already talked about it, but it's like I don't care. The part that still got me, I know, was Voldemort.
Yeah, I think the part that got me just before that was just like seeing through all the ending of him saying goodbye to everybody and StarKid. Oh, the hug with Neville got me too. That was more emotional than I thought it was going to be, because like you just hear Neville go goodbye, Mr. Potter, and then just like gives him a big hug, and I'm like, oh no. And then just as you leave, Harry's last line before the end credits scene is well guys, well thanks Hogwarts, it's been totally awesome, and then it just fades to black with the applause, and I'm like, oh, and you hear like a sad version of a sad instrumental version of Get to Go to Hogwarts, and then you have the scene years later where it wraps up with like
they're gay, they're married.
Well, also Harry Potter tells their son about Hogwarts, and they say
who cares?
It's a nice moment.
Yeah,
but I know
like,
it's
who cares.
I know it's Voldemort. They're the best thing about it, but you got to give credit where credit is due, and it's nice to hear a new version of Go Back to Hogwarts that's both sad and hopeful. And it's like, hey, we're ending this off, but now you get to go. And it's just very nice. Not as nice as Voldemort and their daughter, but still nice. Yeah. How's the timer going?
39 seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're almost there, and we keep talking about ending. I'm waiting for KirbyFan to say, you know what was sad and hopeful?
I liked it, and even it was 3.5 hours, a bit too long, and there were a lot of things they thought they could have cut out. We didn't even mention Jeff Blim, but that whole song, I would have cut that out.
Yeah, we didn't mention the new headmistress or whatever either.
Oh yeah, the spiders. I forgot about the spiders.
Yeah,
that did nothing, and the headmistress. Yeah.
Professor McGonagall, I didn't mind too much.
She didn't do anything.
She was just more like she literally called herself an uptight bitch, and I'm just like, okay, but at least she was the headmaster role. She was Dumbledore's role in this case. So I understand that, but. She didn't really do anything, but she did more than Jeff Blim as the spider, who literally just sings a song about eating you.
Speaking of doing more than the spiders, the timer.
Thank you.
I was about to mention the crab from Moana. We're talking about
that kind of was what it was. It's kind of like the crab from Moana.
Speaking of the crab from Moana, the timer.
Okay,
the timer.
Right,
okay. Let's go on.
All right. Final thoughts. One of you guys go first.
There's parts of this that I like a lot more than sequel, and there's one character that I like even less than sequel. So it's really hard for me to figure out how I would rank this, and it doesn't help that it's so that they're both so long. They both feel like so drawn out. But I the first act was trying. It took me a while to get through that. It took a lot out of me to get through that first act. If it wasn't for Tom Riddle. Second act, it was starting to pick back up again, mostly because it's like, okay, now the plot is going. And yeah, it was good. I liked it. The songs are a lot better. It was nice to hear all that, and that's really all I can say on that.
Kirby fan.
Okay. I liked it well enough. Things that I really didn't like, things that I really did. Dare I say, it had the best ending out of anything StarKid so far. And I mean that both in terms of, like, the ending act and the literal ending. I mean, how can you improve on Voldemort being canon?
Well, he was already canon, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, now there's, like, no doubt. 19 years later, they're still married. They're a happy couple.
Yes.
But just looking, as a whole, definitely too long. Characters I didn't like. Main character not being very likable was a little tough, but a lot of things that I did, had the most things that I liked out of any of the Potters so far. It's weird because the whole time I'm like even from early Act 1, you know who this is written for. There is one specific person that this is written for, and it's like, oh, okay, it's a nice gesture. And I'm not going to shame them for doing it because I understand that the person they wrote this for is important and he's gone, or he's going to be gone. But then that just kind of adds like, okay, well, when are you going to do this every time? Is this guy, I don't know why I'm dancing around the bush. Is Darren Criss the only one who's like important enough to do this for? Like, I can think of, off the top of my head, I can think of at least one StarKid that I know that was around since the very beginning who doesn't stick around, and it's like, is he gonna get something? It raises this weird precedent, and I don't know how I feel about them going this hard into this is our goodbye to Darren Criss, only because again now it's like, well, are you gonna do anything for the others? But again, I'm not saying that as like, they're meanies for doing this. Like, it is a nice gesture, and I could tell that he appreciated it, and that's important. It's just, like I said, it doesn't sour the whole thing, it just, like, middles it, because on the one hand, it's like, oh, that's nice, but on the other hand, it's like, well, what about everybody else?
Yeah.
So, overall, I have a lot of mixed feelings about it, but I did like it. I did my letter grading that doesn't mean anything, but I'll grade it anyway. I gave Holy Musical Batman a C-. I also give this a C-. If you were to ask me which I preferred between the two, really hard to believe that Holy Musical Batman is actually my second favorite that we've watched out of all of these. But I would say...
No.
Yes.
That's not hard to believe.
Oh. I thought you were saying it's not my second favorite. I'm like, yes.
I mean, I can't tell you what to think.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I was like, but no, I get you. I get you.
No,
now.
It's not hard to believe.
Yeah, I get you now. I get you now.
Continue.
But I mean, it's pretty close. But I would say I prefer Holy Musical Batman to this. I'm glad we're moving on. Outside of Starship, which you could already tell was kind of like we're starting to move on from what we were before. This is it. Now it's like, we held on to our past a little bit longer. We tried something new and kind of silly with Batman. We let everything go with Harry Potter. We're now in a more professional, tight era where it's less about, just goofing around and having fun and actually being like, okay, we're serious about this. And it doesn't have to be as good as Starship, but I'm hopeful, which this might be a mistake, but I am hopeful that we'll be getting more Starships. Or more almost more almost Starships.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I do want to mention, because I just when you're talking about the audience being Darren Criss, I was watching a little short video, a Tumblr feature out of all things, talking about the Potter senior year, and one of the cast members, I believe it was Jamie Lynn Betty, saying that Darren Criss wouldn't show up for this unless we invite all of his friends, and then he's gonna and then he'll feel left out. So this very was explicitly like we're trying to get Darren Criss to show up. So yeah, you got to head on the money.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's more they did this for the fans, but they couldn't do like what they did with Hermione to Darren, if that makes any sense. Because if they did, they would have just made it a full show, but just not have Darren Criss as Harry Potter.
No, I mean, I get why, Darren Criss had to be there. I get that.
Yeah.
But I also think
I don't know. I also spent like 5 minutes on that, so I don't want to say anything more.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I also
if I was gonna give a letter grade, considering that I already bossed myself by giving Holy Musical Batman a C, which I already regret. I would probably give that like a D or something like that, and I would probably give this a C minus. I don't know. It's fine.
You guys need to rewatch some of these in order to really solidify. But anyways, how I viewed it is like, yes, they wanted Darren Criss for one final hurrah, but I think they just wanted to do this as closure for the Harry Potter franchise for the fans. Because this did have a fandom who liked it, and I'm not gonna lie, a Harry Potter sequel was not a good way to end the franchise. It wasn't. It was not. It was not. So they wanted to do one more just to end it off, because trilogies work best in threes. And I think they really wanted Darren in this one, because they didn't want anyone else to be Harry Potter, because I'm not gonna lie, would have thrown people off. Hermione threw me off a bit, but I got over it. But if they didn't have Darren as Harry, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
So that's why they were like, we need to get Darren in here, and we're saying goodbye to Darren. I liked it. Did I think it went on too long? Absolutely. Did I think some things could have been cut? Yes. Do I wish it was maybe like an hour less? Yes. But I don't know. I still enjoyed it. I think it shows the best of some of the characters throughout the franchise. Like, this is the best we've seen Ron. This is the best we've seen Draco. This is the best we've seen Voldemort. Actually, that one might be debatable. But
that one might be debatable.
Yeah, but
it's tough.
It's still is the best we've seen Dumbledore. It's the best we see a lot of the characters. They improve a lot of the characters. Yes, they not only Harry's a bit more of an asshole this time, but at least people do call him out on it. And yes, they still somehow managed to make all the Harry Potter musicals have sound issues.
The consistency.
Consistency. But I don't know.
Just like old times.
I think this
and also the camera out of focus in some
Yes!
spots.
Oh my god, I noticed!
They did.
Back to basics.
Okay. It's a con. It's a stage reading. I give them some slack. But at the same time, I still enjoyed myself. I still think I liked it better than the rest of them. I think this might be my favorite out of the Harry Potters. It definitely ends the best out of all of them.
Oh yeah.
Because without a doubt,
I would say so, yeah.
A Harry Potter musical has a rushed ending which is redeemed by Voldemort and Quirrell, but still rushed. Harry Potter sequel, it ends with I don't even remember.
Nonsense.
Me neither.
It ends with go back to Hogwarts, which is nice, but this one they legit ended off with like they legit ended off with like a sad textbook. Everything's tied up in a bow, nicely ending, even with Quirrell. So it's definitely my favorite, and I think I need to think about it, but it's my favorite out of the three, and which technically means I like the sequel better than Holy Musical Batman. So I think I like it better than Holy Musical Batman 2. So
I doubt I need to ask this, but what about Starship?
No,
okay,
absolutely not.
Okay. I was curious. Like, I knew the answer, but I wanted to hear it.
Yeah, Starship is still my favorite. So I believe right now for me, it's Starship, Harry Potter Senior Year, Harry Potter sequel, Holy Musical Batman, a Harry Potter musical, Me and My Gumshoe.
Okay. All right.
And that's 6, right?
Yeah, we have reached the halfway point.
We're not
right.
We're not done yet, though, because we got to do the spotlight of the StarKid actors. Let's name actors that we thought really shine in this performance. Washer Kirby fan, which one of you would like to go first? Because I always let you guys pick. I think you both will pick different ones this time.
I kind of want to. I'll give it to Kirby fan because I'm pretty sure she already said which one it was.
Yeah.
And I might need to. I need to buy a bit more time.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
I mean, I could be unpredictable, but it's like if you're gonna give it to me, I'll just say it. Joe Walker was just born to play this role. He's a perfect fit, and even.
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
No, who did you think I was gonna say?
I thought it was Joey Richter.
No.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were gonna say.
No, I literally said Joe Walker was my favorite part.
Oh, okay. I thought because you said earlier that Joey Richter was your favorite actor.
Yeah, for Starship, like in general.
Like StarKid in general.
I keep saying Starship. Random. It's your fault. I just love Starship. Okay.
All right, but yeah, Joe Walker's your favorite.
I love him I love the humanity that's brought to him with Tom Riddle. He still gets some really good laughs, more so as Voldemort, but even with Tom, Voldemort, and just like it when the reveal quote unquote happened, and Ginny found out that Tom Riddle was Voldemort, and you just see Joe Walker rip the shirt off, and they put the cape on him. It's just like, it's him. It's him.
He's back.
He's back, baby. It was he's born to play. I love Joe Walker as an actor. But like really, he's born to play this specific role. He's so good, so good.
Yeah,
absolutely. My joke answer is Bob Jones for saying Joe Walker died. My actual answer, I think I'm gonna have to go to Joey Richter for the fantastic performance of Sidekick, and also for this really heartfelt, emotional speech to Harry. Like I said, like that was especially for a stage reading, that was impressive. Like, damn, that really came out of his soul there. That was real damn good. Good work there. Yeah, it's just nice to see him like grow so much in talent. Random.
Shit. Because I was actually gonna joke. I was actually tempted to be like Bob Jones because dies, but it feels disingenuous. But also, he does a really good job. So not official, but honorable mention's gonna go to Bob Jones.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because
I loved him. I loved him.
He really was great, and he should be in more. Like they should. I don't know if they use his. I don't think they use his voiceovers at all. Oh God, who do I choose? You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna give it to AJ Holmes for that monologue. Just for that monologue.
Like if I audition for things, I am going to use that monologue. Like,
oh God, do it! Please.
Like I want to. Like when he was going through that, I'm like, this is a perfect monologue to audition with. Like it's perfect.
It really. I've heard of people doing that.
It's perfect.
So.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Just like the intensity and the rise and fall of your emotions, absolutely. Going like power hungry and then sad about all the casualties. That was good.
And granted, I was tempted to pick a Jamie Lynn Beatty because she has fun as Ginny. I don't think she necessarily has any character growth, but she has a lot of fun. And I was ready to pick Lauren because she doesn't really play the usual Draco, but Draco grows in this one, and you could see a lot of the acting in it, and she's still having fun. But so they were very close, very close. It's just the monologue about the mice. I had to, you know, I had to. Of course. And with that, now we have officially reached the halfway point of StarKid Spotlight.
Yes, we have
6 down, 6 to go. With an all-new era of StarKid. Because the post-Harry Potter era, I like a lot of these new musicals, and the next one we'll be doing is Twisted. And, previously, my favorite musical in StarKid.
Yes, I found this out mere weeks ago because for years I thought it was Starship. This changed my worldview.
I mean, Starship may still conquer. We'll see. I don't know. But I'm excited for this one. I'm really, really excited for this one.
I'm curious about this one because and I'll talk about it. But like, this is like the latest StarKid that I actually like tried for a little bit and then gave up. And that's about it. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be interesting. I'm also nervous because, granted, we have like 6 other shows, but like, this is the one after Harry Potter, so we'll see what happens.
I'm just excited to watch Aladdin again. It's gonna be so fun.
And
so much better than that.
A lot of the shows are under 3 hours.
Yes.
So,
oh my god, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just gonna be so nice to not have to watch that shitty Little Mermaid movie. With that, if you like this podcast, then thank you very much. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, WRK in Progress, or you can also look up Pixar Perspective. We're usually in the top results, and you can also subscribe to the podcast. We're on many platforms, including wrk.simplecast.com. We do all sorts of different podcasts, and this is one of them. With that, I've been to Wash.
I've been Random Bystander here.
Say it with me, everybody. This is not the red line of StarKid Spotlight.
Yeah. Are you going to do that until we eventually find the red line of StarKid Spotlight?
If we ever find the red line of StarKid Spotlight.
Oh, one of these days. One of these days.
If it's good.
I was thinking about the yeah.
And with that Hercules reference, good night, everybody.